Well, Andy, obviously, playing Baylor, a challenge for any defense. When you just look at that, and what are your thoughts on what makes it so good, that offense?
Well, I think they have really good players and personnel, and they do a great job of getting those guys in the correct position. And obviously, I mean, if you've seen Baylor games, they operate at a very fast tempo. They have the ability to do that. And so, not only in handling the space on the field and how they spread you out and stuff, and obviously, people look at them and think, well, hey, they spread you out to throw the ball. Well, they'll spread you out to throw the ball if you got everyone packed in the box. But make no mistake about it, they want to run the ball, and they do a good job running the ball. Just because some of their sets are more spread sets, they got an emphasis on running the ball.
When you talk about all the spreads, their line, I'm sure, is wider between the guys. What does that do? Does that force you guys to be wider as well?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to. Going back to some of the teams we played this year, you got to account for the space on the field with the splits, and they're trying to turn the field, make the field wider than what it is, obviously, and they do a good job with that. And really, their personnel, at wide receiver, you really got to respect that because, you don't want guys sitting out there on an island by themselves.
Do you like game planning for a new team? I mean, you play the Utah States of the world every year? I mean, maybe that makes it easier. I don't know, but is it kind of a fun, unique challenge to have all new stuff to look at, all new tape?
Oh, it always is. It always is. Even the ones you play each and every year, I mean, shoot, they're going to have some play. They know you, you know them, so you better have something new. They're going to have something new, and going into this game, usually bowl game, you get a little more prep. So, we're expecting some new stuff from them as well that we're going to have to be able to adjust to once we see it on the field and do a good job handling our defenses and making sure that we're ready when they come back with it again.
Sometimes bowl games tackling is a bit of a problem because
No
of the
question.
layoff. How do you try to account for that? Because it seemed like at least in the last bowl game against Northern Illinois, tackling was pretty good.
Tackling, you talk about conditioning, tackling, and turnovers. In these bowl games, just from the schedules, your routine of the season kind of falls off there and all that stuff. And obviously, our strength and conditioning program does a great job in preparing them for that, but obviously game conditioning is way different. So being able to do that, and then obviously the focus on tackling is always high here, and even more so now, because the last time these guys would have actually tackled, is a month between game time. So it doesn't take long to get rusty at things, to lose your good fundamentals and your habits. So with doing it in a smart way, we're working as much tackling as we can without banging our guys up. And that's one big thing that's going to be a factor for us is obviously they got some big backs that run hard. We got to be able to fit those guys up and not allow for too many yards after contact. And then obviously on the perimeter and all the open space about being good open field tacklers.
How fast do they go? And I mean, how do you limit the chaos in between when you're trying to get lined up in
Right.
10, 15 seconds?
Right. Well, they could go really fast, so fast that those referees that are spotting the ball are struggling to get out of the way before they snap the ball. So I mean, they have the ability to go extremely fast. They have the ability to slow it down. At any rate, we got to be very efficient in our operation, and obviously that starts with us coaches and the operation, getting the information on the field that the guys need, and then our guys being able to get set up and assignment alignment and have great get-offs.
Is it the biggest challenge to face in an offense like this, or are there other things you worry about more?
Oh, there's a lot of things you worry about. You're just putting out fires here and there, but their personnel is, once again, this is not a tempo offense. It's just trying to go fast, and try to get you to make mistakes. They have good personnel. They have really good personnel, and they do a great job schematically in what they do with those guys. So that in itself as well, making sure that we have the right numbers here and there, and we're not, we got the field covered.
I don't know if
I think they're number one in terms of plays per game in the country, even though they don't always try to go that blurred tempo. But how do you try to prepare for that in practice? Is there anything that you're trying to do to kind of get ready for that, and what can you guys do?
Yeah, there's a number of things that we got to do in terms of our operation to get ready for that, and our offense has the ability to go pretty fast when they want to too as well. So going against them and using that in order to improve our operation and be quick and efficient, something that obviously we're going to have to use here in the next couple of weeks.
How much did their offense change when their quarterback went down, and what did you see out of them in the last couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously number 17 is a starter for a reason. Very mobile, a lot of reaction. In terms of the pass game and stuff and what they're doing, not a lot has changed. Quarterback, the freshman that's playing now, he does a great job. You talk about freshmen jumping in there and playing and being able to handle, especially at the tempo in which we were talking about that they operate at, and getting the ball to his weapons, his wide receivers, and obviously being able to facilitate all that. He's done a pretty good job.
And I think with the running game, they're the only school in the country, I think, four guys with at least 50 yards rushing a game. I know the quarterback's out, but when they have three backs, it really doesn't matter who they go to. I mean, what is that? How much more of a challenge is that?
Well, that's where it's all along, all the way back from fall camp. I mean, any defense, any offense you play, and throughout the season, I mean, the one thing you got to establish is depth, and you got to be able to have and rotate guys through. And times this year we've had it. Obviously, at times we haven't for certain reasons or whatever. That's really how you have to be able to address it. You got to be able to put different guys on the field to keep everybody fresh as a whole, or as fresh as you can. We're not going to keep them fresh, but to keep them in a position where they can be extremely effective in executing their responsibilities.
What's the thing that's impressed you most about having Darren Lee?
Shoot, I mean, from the start, here's a guy that when we talk about work ethic and blue collar here, here's a great example that a guy that has said it from day one since he's been here in terms of how he trains, how he prepares, how he practices, and all that stuff. And him being a little bit older than the other guys, I think he's a good role model. He's a married man. We call him Papa Lee. Papa Lee's got a little girl and all that stuff. And so when we're really preparing these guys for life through football, right? That's what we're doing here. I mean, you guys, we don't sit here and talk about that stuff, but in an everyday sense, what we do back upstairs behind these doors and all that is we're preparing these guys for life through football. And Darren Lee's a great example every day. When I'm trying to tell the younger guys something, I look at Papa Lee and I'm like, right? And he just starts laughing and shaking his head. And, he's like, yeah, you wait, guys. He gets it, So it's been awesome. We're obviously going to miss him. He's played so much here in the last 4 years. Obviously, it feels like he's been here forever,
And you just have him, contribute like he has as a senior. He always seen as a special teams guy, but obviously now defensively, he really stepped in and played a huge role for you.
Yeah, no question. I mean, on the field, he's had his best year, and help us do what we've been able to accomplish this year. So, on the field, we've been very fortunate, and obviously he gets one more opportunity to go out there.
With the coaching staff